Explorers, welcome back to another interesting video, or rather, a scary video. In this video, we will be taking you around the continent of Africa, showing you the most unsettling places on the continent. Africa is a huge continent with amazing destinations. However, some of these places leave people trembling just at the mention of their names. Some of these areas are scary due to their creepy history, their inherent danger, or their unique physical appearances. From haunted towns to weird lakes, here are the top 10 scariest places in Africa, of course in no particular order. Number 10. Devil's Pool at Victoria's Falls, Zambia. They don't call it the Devil's Pool for nothing. This naturally formed rock pool is located at the very edge of the majestic Victoria Falls on the Zambia side, and the other side of the falls is in Zimbabwe. Some people are daring enough to swim in it, while some go even further and dangle their legs off the side. Swimming can only take place between September and December, when a natural rock barrier forms, but it is still extremely scary and dangerous. Several people have plunged to their death from the Devil's Pool, including one famous tour guide who managed to save one of his victims who had been drowning. Unfortunately, he slipped during the rescue and lost his own life instead. If the fear of going over the edge and the thought of crocodiles in the water aren't enough to completely freak you out, there's also another unexpected surprise in the Devil's Pool. There are fish that bite you during a dip in the pool. It's not enough to draw blood, but it will definitely make you jump a bit. So just be forewarned and don't get startled enough to jump over the edge. Everyone judges the fear factor of this experience differently from another. Most sane people would agree that the pool is a frightening experience. Even with this extreme fear factor, Devil's Pool can also be an awesome thrill. Number 9. Majaisfontaine Ghost Hotel, South Africa. Majaisfontaine is reputed to be the most haunted town in SA. The history of these Karoo oases includes fortification during the South African War, formerly known as the Anglo-Boer War. It also served as refuge for Jameson raid reformers and as the venue of controversial war crimes hearings. With such a wartime and tragic history, it's no wonder that the town should have its fair share of otherworldly residents. There are a few guests there, but they are not malevolent. The ghosts of Majaisfontaine are said to be both playful and even mischievous, and they are totally unconcerned with events around them. You may hear Katie shuffling her cards in Katie's cat room, or see the ghost known as Lucy wandering around in her nightwear. Ghostly British soldiers from the Boer War are said to haunt the hotel, while the hotel insists that the spirit of the founder of Majaisfontaine, James Logan, is still present in the hotel. The hotel is just 250 kilometers from Cape Town. It is frightening, but yet appealing to many tourists, many weird ones. Number 8. The Sanctuary of Tophet, Tunisia. Originally dedicated to the deities Baal Hannon and Tanit, this Carthaginian sacrificial site and burial ground is dotted with stubby stelae engraved with simple geometric shapes and symbols. This sacrificial site was uncovered by a French team of archaeologists in 1921. They uncovered more than 20,000 ruins, some of which contain the ashes of newborns and children. Though according to the Greeks and Romans, the people of Carthage did not practice child sacrifices. Nevertheless, there are alternate theories about what happened at that site. Regardless, walking through the stone slabs marking on the graves is a haunting experience. Number 7. Lake Natron, Tanzania. Have you ever heard of Medusa, the snakehead Greek monster who turns people to stone with a single glance. Well, she might just be a myth, but there is an area so scary and deadly that could actually turn you to stone, known as Lake Natron. The ghastly Lake Natron in northern Tanzania is a salt lake, meaning that water flows in but doesn't flow out, so it can only escape by evaporation. Over time, as water evaporates, it leaves behind high concentrations of salt and other minerals. Most people who visit Lake Natron in Tanzania can barely believe their eyes. It's almost totally pink. Home to matching pink flamingos, it's obvious why so many people want to see this amazing salt and soda lake for themselves. But it's not all pretty in pink. Lake Natron has an unusually high alkaline content and a pH level of 10.5, which is the same as ammonia. Simply put, that means Lake Natron burns the skin of humans and most animals. In addition to the whole skin burning, temperatures around the lake can reach a whopping 60 degrees Celsius. Basically, the only thing that can survive here are the flamingos. The lake is made up of both hydrogen and sulfide, so most animals and humans will die as soon as they touch its waters. Number 6. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. Stretching from northeastern Ethiopia to southern parts of Eritrea, the Danakil Depression is one of the most dangerous and scariest places in Africa. Known as the gateway to hell, the Danakil Depression is scorchingly hot and one of the most alien places on Earth. And in words of British explorer Wilfred Thesiger, a veritable land of death. This salt wasteland is exactly the kind of place we should be avoiding. But of course, nothing of that sort is happening, knowing who humans are. Tourists are still showing up to experience the blazing hot temperatures and risking their lives in the process. Active volcanoes, geysers, a lack of oxygen, and temperatures of around 120 degrees Fahrenheit are all the things you can look forward to if you take the stupid decision to visit hell on Earth. Okay, not so stupid, but rather silly. If you manage to survive all of this, there are also the hostile rebels to look out for. Basically, don't go here if you value your life. Number 5. Zambezi River, Zambia. Long considered one of the most extreme locations for whitewater rafting in the world, the Zambezi River is not one to take lightly. The stones and trenches that often leave boats unturned are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the dangers you will face. Each section of rapids has its own name, which you might think is cute until you hear what they're called. Some of the names are the Boiling Pot, Stairway to Heaven, the Devil's Toilet Bowl, and many more. In addition to all this, you also got the river's natives to worry about, which are the crocodiles and hippos that are the most common in the Zambezi River. And they are not exactly considered friendly locals, if you get what I mean. Number 4. Erta Ale Volcano, Ethiopia. Erta Ale is a basaltic shield volcano rising 613 meters out of the Danakil Depression. The volcano contains an active lava lake, which means the lava in the crater remains liquid due to the convection currents of the magma system underneath. Erta Ale volcano is just one of the terrifying features within the Danakil Desert in Ethiopia. At more than 2,000 feet high and 120 degrees Fahrenheit, Erta Ale is one hotspot you don't want to visit. It's one of the few active volcanoes in the world, but it's the only volcano in the world with 2 active lava lakes, making it one of a kind. It's no surprise that people want to view this phenomenon for themselves, but it comes with a lot of risks. It's so dangerous due to the heat that the only way to view it is by helicopter. Number 3. Lake Kivu. Lake Kivu is one of Africa's largest and most important lakes. It is located on the border of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. When you're trying to come up with words to describe it, majestic sounds like an understatement. However, stories of swimmers being swallowed and dead fish surfacing on the surface paint a different picture of what lies beneath. The scariest part of the lake is in its geography, which is approximately 90 kilometers long and 50 kilometers at its widest. Its irregular shape makes the measuring of its precise surface area very difficult. It has been estimated to cover a total surface area of some 2,700 kilometers square, making it Africa's 8th largest lake. The surface of the lake sits at the height of 1,460 meters above sea level. This lake has a chance of suffering a limnic eruption every 1,000 years, which remains a possible threat in the future. Lake Kivu has fascinated scientists in every field due to the methane gas trapped in its depths. If the gas is ever released, it would spell untold disaster for everyone and everything in that area. One volcanic explosion would be enough to burst this lake like a bottle of champagne. Visualize that, which is why experts refer to this possibility as the champagne effect. Thus, if you value your life, stay clear from this lake. Number 2. Lake Lingus, Cameroon. Known locally as the Bad Lake, Lake Lingus, located in the northwest region of Cameroon, carried folklore of danger and tales spoken of an evil spirit which emerged from the lake to kill all those who lived near it. This lake contains a large amount of carbon dioxide within its depths. For many years, no harm was done, well until 1986, when the toxic gas exploded upwards and wide, just like we mentioned for Lake Kivu. This caused a huge carbon dioxide cloud to form, and it resulted in extreme destruction and death. The cloud traveled downhill and effectively suffocated about 1,700 people and many more animals. Basically, nothing survived for 15 miles. Today, things aren't as dangerous as they once were, as pipes exist to siphon the carbon dioxide from the lake. The risk still hasn't been completely eradicated, but for the most part, it's considered safe, but much scary than before. Now let's get to the first on the list. Number 1. The Blue Hole, Egypt. The Blue Hole sounds fun, right? But has a straightforward name that fails to justify its sinister side. This 394-foot deep underwater sinkhole in the Red Sea off the coast of Egypt is an infamous dive site. Nicknamed Divers Cemetery, more than 100 divers are estimated to have died there in the past 2 decades. The number of deaths caused by the Blue Hole is only an estimate, but any diver considering diving in the Blue Hole should keep in mind that this place is not considered the most deadly diving spot in the world for no reason. The divers who have lost their lives here were considered high-trained technical divers, and many were even diving instructors. One of the most notorious deaths was the death of a 22-year-old Russian-Israeli diver, Yuri Lipsky, on April 28, 2000. Yuri's death was documented by the camera he carried within himself while diving, and the footage was recovered after his death, making it notoriously known among the diving communities in the world. Dear explorers, that wraps it up for our countdown. We know there are many other scary places in Africa that were not mentioned in this video, so feel free to drop them in the comments. Also, you can support the channel by subscribing and sharing our videos.